We're joined from Cork by UCC health economist Brian Turner. Brian, thanks for talking to us on the programme. Now, as it happens, a number of years ago, you carried out an investigation, a report into universal health insurance. I think on behalf of Fianna Fáil, they commissioned you to do an investigation, and you came to broadly the same conclusion that the ESRI came to in the report published this week.
That's right, Brian. Essentially what I did in 2013 was look at the proposed model of universal health insurance, or at least to the extent that we had the details of it at that stage, and looked at alternative financing mechanisms. And I suppose, based on the international evidence, what I came to a conclusion about in 2013 in more general terms, but obviously the ESRI have come to a similar conclusion in much more detail today, is that systems that are based on multiple payer insurance models, which is what the government was proposing, tend to be more expensive than systems based on a single payer, either with social health insurance or with taxation financing. So if you look at it in global terms, I mean, the most expensive health system, or at least the health system that where spending is highest as a proportion of GDP, is in the US. And the second highest spending system as a proportion of GDP is now the Netherlands, which has a very similar model to what was being proposed in the Irish instance.
So when Enda Kenny says today, actually we're now going to look at other possible models of providing universal health insurance cover, does such exist that could be adopted here?
Well, I suppose one of the possible solutions that he may be thinking of is a social health insurance based model, such as we see in the likes of France and Germany, whereby you have income based premiums as opposed to kind of the community rated premiums that were being talked about under the current model, or at least the model that has now been set aside, we believe. Now, I suppose one thing about the social health insurance model versus the taxation model is that international research has suggested that countries that move from taxation to social health insurance end up spending a higher amount per capita on health expenses without any discernible improvement in health outcomes. So I suppose the issue there is, look, we have a tax finance system. Let's try and make the best of that rather than necessarily going to social health insurance.
So, sorry to cut across. I mean, your research leads you to conclude that the most cost-effective model is to pay for health through taxation, through general taxation. That's really what delivers best value for money.
Well, I suppose the systems that tend to spend a lower amount per capita and as a percentage of GDP in the world are the tax finance systems. Now, as Maeve Van Wren pointed out in the package earlier, some of the increase in expenditure by moving to universal health insurance would be for additional services, but some would be subsumed into insurers' profit margins. Now, I suppose one thing that needs to be taken into account, whether we talk about a single payer social health insurance model or a single payer taxation model, is the position of the existing insurers. Now, when Bupa Ireland took the legal case against the risk equalisation scheme in the middle of the last decade, one of the grounds on which they took their case was that they have a right to carry on business in the state. Now, if memory serves me correctly, both the High Court and the Supreme Court acknowledged that. So if you move to a single payer system, you still have the existing insurers having a right to carry on business. So you're not going to eliminate the two-tier system very easily, and I think that needs to be borne in mind.
So, Brian, presumably the broad conclusion we could come to tonight is that we're going to be left with the two-tier system, which all this was designed to finally get rid of. We're going to be left with that for many, many years to come.
I think certainly in the short to medium term we are going to have a two-tier system. Now, that I suppose the issue there is that if you improve the public health system, that removes a major, I suppose, determining factor in terms of people's decision to take out private health insurance. So the best way to remove the two-tier system is to improve the public system, be it through taxation or be it through social health insurance. Okay. But I suppose in the short to medium term, yes, I think we need to accept rather that we will have a multiple tier system for the immediate future.
All right, there we leave it. Brian Turner of UCC, thank you for talking to us on the programme.